Here is the Avast Security News Roundup for the week ending December 25th, 2020. I hope all of you have had a Merry Christmas, and I'd like to extend a happy, healthy, and prosperous wish for a great 2021 to all of you. Disinformation is a cybersecurity issue. Misinformation and disinformation are rife, but so far it seems a challenge for policymakers and big tech, including social media platforms. Because disinformation is by nature an online risk, it is a challenge for our cybersecurity ecosystem to tackle too. Disinformation and fake news is also part of the delivery package, rather than being the end goal. It is increasingly being used to deliver malware by manipulating people's fear and heightened emotions. For example, Avast has found that fake shops claiming to sell COVID-19 cures that use the World Health Organization's logo were intended to get people to download malware. Disinformation is still an emerging frontier for cybersecurity, and we will need unconventional techniques far beyond data breach notifications and regular fines. All alliances and partnerships must emerge between industry and government. More than that, our fundamental assumptions of what a cyber attack looks like must also evolve. The first step is recognizing it's a new type of online risk where effective cybersecurity is part of the solution. As the coronavirus crisis worsens, hacking is increasing. While you're trying to avoid getting infected with a real virus, hackers are trying to infect your devices with malicious software or grab your personal information. Security experts say that hacking attempts are becoming more frequent in general, and one of the fastest growing tactics is to use the coronavirus crisis as a ruse. In many ways, this is business as usual for hackers, who always use current events to trick their victims. Whether it's apps that promise you free access to Oscar-nominated movies, or scams that scoop up your tax refund, these attacks trick you into acting against your better judgment. But experts say the attacks are increasing in frequency, and it's clear from hackers' behavior that they see the moment as potentially profitable. One attack, described by Malwarebytes, was a malicious spam email falsely offering a file containing information from the World Health Organization on protecting children and businesses from the virus. When downloaded, the file loads malicious software that can steal web browsing data and track everything its victims type. A malicious app detailed by Zscaler promised to show users when someone infected with the novel coronavirus was nearby. We are facing a rise in nation-state attacks. Microsoft security teams detected 3 nation-state actors targeting 7 prominent companies directly involved in researching vaccines and treatment of COVID-19. A crisis always seems to bring out the best and worst in people, so perhaps we should not be surprised that the global crisis was no exception. Put together, however, these 3 trends point to a cybersecurity landscape that is even more daunting than when the year began. The most determined nation-state attacks are becoming more sophisticated. Risks are both growing and spreading to other governments through new private sector companies that aid and abet nation-state attackers. And nothing, not even a pandemic, is off limits to these attackers. We live in a more dangerous world, and it requires a stronger and more sophisticated response. A global strategy to protect against cyber attackers must start with the recognition that governments and tech sectors will need to act together. And that wraps up this week's cybersecurity news. See you next week. It'll also be next year. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.